So here we're going to start our last problem. So we have a lifting device. So we have a motor mounted up here on a plate by a wall. And it's going to wind rope up. So it's got a little winding drum here. Goes out over this pulley, down over this pulley, and back up to this support here. And it's lifting 700 pounds up. Okay, or actually it's not lifting at the moment, it's just holding it in place. Okay, so the motor's got a lock here, so this is locked in place and it's stable, so we don't have any there's no acceleration in terms of what's happening here. Okay, so I'll presume that the motor's been turned off, it's locked, and so we just have 700 pounds hanging there. All right, and the question that we're going to answer is, what are the supports here doing at D and A, and what is the tension in the rope? Well, the tension in the rope is really very straightforward. There's 700 pounds here, and the rope is pulling here and here. So it's going to have half of it's going to be there, half of it's going to be there. So the cable tension is 350 pounds. That's very easy. So more problematic is figuring out what's happening here and there. So that's what we're going to go after. So again, the complication is just doing all the free body diagrams. And so let's start talking about that. We're going to have to make our field of view a little bigger here. All right. So here we have the free body diagrams. So we have this bar here, really exciting. Then we've got this bar ABC, which we'll note is 100 pounds coming across. And then, so we've got at B, this bar is joining, and so you got a big pin here. And so this pin is going to be used to hold the bar, the crossbar here, and the pulley wheel will all be attached there. Okay? And so let's just, again, the process I tend to be is start from what you know and just kind of work your way back. So we know there's 700 pounds here. That tells us the cable tension is 350 pounds up in these. All right, and so that 350 pounds is going to come up, and so if you look at C, so what's holding all this up? So to hold up this wheel and everything, so there's 350. This is connected here, so we've got 350 coming down from the tension. So there's 350 there. Okay. And then the pin is going to support all this stuff. Okay. So we've got to support all that. So we're going to have, so let's see here. If there's 350 here, it says off this pulley. We'll call this pulley, so in my notes I called this was, I actually made this pulley 2 and that pulley 1. So we look here at what I called pulley 2. So just looking at that pulley, if we wanted to balance the forces, there's the pulley, okay, the pin here supporting the pulley. There'll be a vertical force to it and a horizontal. All right, so when we look at this, we've got 350 to the left, so we'll have P2x going that way, and that'll be 350. And we've got 700 going down, so we'll put P2y in here. And so we'll just take note, P2x is 350, P2y 700. Right, so I started here, 2 350s, that means 2 350s going down. And then as this wire goes up, the tension is constant through there, so there's 350. And then this body is supporting, it's called the pin, but the body is supporting this pulley, all right? And so the way that'll be happening is you'll have a bar, there'll be a pin going through there, and then this pulley is on the pin. So the support will all be transferred through that. We had 350 that way, so the pin will have to push back 350, 700 down. The pin will have to lift with 700, and then it'll transfer that back into this horizontal bar, of course. All right. So now once we drew these, okay, as we drew these, that determines what happens here. So that'll mean you have P2y coming down there and P2x going back that way. And of course, again, we know what they are. All right, now going here, all right, so there'll be a pin coming through. So this bar will support a pin, and the pin will come out, and then this pulley will be on it. All right, so we have 350 pounds, and then it comes down at 60 degrees, 350 pounds of tension there. So we're going to have the pin supporting all of this again. All right, so if we look at this, all right, we're going to have, let's see, we would have P1x, and if I say there's a P1x there, that means there's a P1x going back the other way. And then we'll need some lift support. This is coming down, so we'll need a lift. We'll put P1y here, which means we will have then P1y there. And we can solve for what those are. Again, just summing the forces in here. So let's see what we have. We have here, we're going to have some forces in the x. We have 350 going positive, and we'll assume the as our usual coordinate system, x, y. 350 this way. Now going back, we have 350 cos 60, so that'd be minus 175. Cos 60 is 1/2. It's one of the things you kind of know. Minus P1x equals 0. So that tells us P1x is 175. So we know that. And then we have, this is in the x, that's in the x. So these two offset each other. So we have P1y is 350 sine of 60. And let's see if I have, yep, here it is. That's 303.1 pounds. So start from what we know. We've gone through all the pulleys. Okay, every time we put a support force in, there's an equal and opposite one, and we've drawn them in. So I'm going to continue walking my way through this thing. All right, so this is forces transferred through the pin back to the bar. Same here. So I don't have to consider the pulley any further. But as I go along my path, now I've got this bar here. All right, so let's think what's going to happen. This thing, if I was to holding this here, and if I let this pin go, what would this want to do? It's going to go and rotate down. So what this bar is doing is pulling this thing up. Okay, this point here is providing lift. So it's clear to me that we have at B, due to this, we have a By going up, okay, and a Bx. And when as soon as I do that, I go over here and I have a By coming down and a Bx coming over. The last thing we need to do is this bar is set up to be uniform, and if we look at our picture here, it's 4 feet on both sides. So this is the middle, so that's where the weight would be. And we're told the weight of this thing is 100 pounds, so we'll go to B. It's in the middle. We'll put 100 pounds coming down. All right, so that finishes that off. And we finish this. BD, this piece here weighs 40 pounds, so we'll go to the middle of this. And I'll actually put it above it, but there's 40 pounds for that. And now let's just think what's going to be happening here. If we were to kind of feel this thing, this would be tugging down this way on the wall. So the wall's going to have to be tugging back the other way. So I will put dy here and a dx. So this is wanting to pull away, and so it's going to be lifting and pulling back into here. So that's what I have there. Okay, so I've done that. All we have left is this piece here. And so here's how I would look at this. If A were to move or to be broken, this thing would want to collapse back into the wall. So that tells me The wall should be pushing out. There's AX. And if this pin were to break, I also think this thing would want to go, with all the weight out here, it would want to twist this way. So that says the pin will push down to offset that. So I have AY, in my opinion, going down. So that's the logic behind I did this. Now, if any of this bothers you, or you just want to take them all positive, you can do that, because the signs will work out for you. Or you can put some thought into it and pick them as you go. It is your choice. So we've analyzed all of this. So now we need to, as we kind of move up, the next thing is this bar that we hit. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, let's see, I know these. I know the P1X, P1Y, the 100 pounds is known. The BX, actually, if I look, that points back to A. So if I sum the moments at A, I know everything and other than this BY, so I'll have one unknown. So that seems to me like the best place to start. So got a little space here. I'll sum the moments at A, set that equal to 0. All right, and start going through it. All right, so as I go across, I'm just going to go left to right. BX is aligned with A, does nothing. P1X is aligned with A, does nothing. I have 100 pounds. It's 4 feet away, so that'll be clockwise. So I have minus 100 times 4. I have P1Y. We said that's 303.1. Okay, that's 4 away. Minus 303.1, 4 away. So I've done this one. Now I have BY, that's going the other way, so that'll be plus BY 4. Now I come back, P2X is aligned, it does nothing. P2Y is 700, it's 8 feet out, going clockwise. Minus 700 times 8. All right, and that's one unknown. Solve for BY, we get 1,803 pounds. All right, now I'm just going to do, taking a look at this, so I know everything here except for BX and AX. And so I will just take note of if I were to sum forces in the X on this bar ABX. All right. I have minus P2X plus P1X minus BX plus AX. And so let's see, we can write all this down. We have plus AX minus BX plus P1X, that was plus 175. So 1, 2, 3, Y, and P2X is 350, that's minus. So set that equal to 0, and we have AX equals BX plus 175. So if we find out what BX is, add 175 to it, we have AX. All right, and let's see here. I have all of my Y's now, so I can sum forces in the Y on ABC. And let's see, I have a minus AY. The X's do nothing. P1Y was minus 303.1, minus 100 right there. BY is up, plus 1803.1. So we got those. And P2Y is minus 700. All right? And so if we add all that together, we should wind up with, just checking my numbers, 1,011, yep, equals 700 AY. So I've got AY. If I get BX, I'll have AX really quick. So now we move on to the next thing. All right. I want to find BX. I know this is 40. I know BY, it's 1803.1. If I sum the moments here at D, I will have, I know this, I knew this, I know that, I can find that. So that'll allow me to get BX, which will give me AX. And then I can just sum forces in the x and y, and I'll get those two. So we've done one moment, two sums of forces to get all this mess. I need one more sum of moments, and we will be almost to the end. So summing the moments at D is the next step. Of course, we set that equal to 0. So if I sum them at D, these go out. So I have 40 pounds. All right. Now note, this was 4 feet from here to here. So this is in the middle of that. So that's 2 feet there. So I have equal to minus 40 times 2. That would be clockwise. BY is going minus 1803.1, and that's 4 feet out. And then I have, let's see, plus, so BX would go back the other way. Don't know what BX is. But let's just look at our picture. We'll notice this is 4 feet from here to here. So BX is going across here. I'll just move it back to here. BX times 4. So BX times 4 equals 0. Solve for BX. And we get, my numbers are here somewhere. There it is. 1,823.1 pounds. Adding 175 to that, we get AX is 1998.1 pounds. All right. And I will leave it to you to do a sum of forces here using these elements right there. So you can solve for dx and dy. You will find dx equals bx. All right. And actually, that's pretty obvious. This goes to the right. This goes to the left. That's all there is there. So that doesn't take much more effort. All right. So here's by. And here's minus 40. This is that plus 40 more. So dy is by plus 40. And where was by? There it is. 1843.1 pounds. And that finishes Frames and Machines. The key to doing these problems, just taking your time to do a free body diagram. At the end of the day, just the most important thing to remember is if you make a choice of direction for forces on one element, they're equal and opposite on the other side. You have a free choice here, so you could take them both positive, and that's fine. The signs will work out. But when you draw your free body diagrams, you got to flip them here and keep tracking things through. So careful. But these things are really not that bad. Look intimidating, but you can do them. That's all for this chapter. Next chapter we're going into is called Distributed Loads. It's actually my favorite chapters. The students like these. We make really pretty pictures. They're kind of fun to do. And the one thing that's really nice about these problems, we're going to wind up, it'll take us a little while to build up, but we're going to show you a technique where you can do these problems. And the nice thing is if you follow the technique, you will absolutely know when you get to the end of the problem that you are right. The whole thing is self-checking. That's really cool. It's very rare you can go through a problem and get to an answer and go, well, I think it's right. I hope the numbers, I didn't hit a wrong calculator number. On these problems, when you get to the bottom, it's self-checking. You will know whether you're in the right spot. So that makes them kind of fun. We'll start that next time. And I'll catch you later now. Bye-bye.